Welcome to Workplace Minute, powered by H3HR Advisors and sponsored by WorkHuman. Thanks for joining me for your quick briefing on what's important in the world of work. My name is Steve Boese. Today in the show, the job market is cooling, layoffs are making headlines, and HR leaders are asking, what's next? Let's break down the latest data and make some predictions for Q4 2025 and beyond. Every organization faces its own unique challenges and conditions. But here's the thing. None of us operates in a vacuum. Whether you're a global enterprise or a mid-sized firm, your workforce lives inside the larger economy. And that means macroeconomic and labor market trends absolutely do matter. They influence hiring, retention, wages, and even employee morale. Today we're going to step back and take a wide-angle look at the latest U.S. labor market data, what it tells us about the fourth quarter of 2025, and what HR leaders should be thinking about as we prepare for 2026. So let's start with the latest pulse check. The most recent jobs report showed that the labor market has lost a little bit of steam. Payroll job growth has slowed dramatically, and unemployment has ticked up to about 4.3%. Meanwhile, private sector data from ADP painted an even weaker picture, showing a decline of 32,000 jobs in September, the largest drop in over 2.5 years. At the same time, wages in that same report were still up about 4.5% year over year. So that combination, softening job creation, but ongoing wage pressure, suggests that while demand for labor is cooling, workers still have some leverage. And the JOLTS report, which looks at job openings and turnover, reinforces this picture. Job openings held steady at just about 7.2 million, but that's much lower than the 12 million we saw at the peak a few years ago. Hires and separations both came in at around 5.1 million, showing stability, but no great surge in demand. The quits rate was 1.9% and layoffs just over 1%, meaning workers are both more cautious about leaving jobs and employers are not yet engaging in sweeping layoffs. But compared to the red-hot labor markets in 2021 and 2022, the market is clearly more balanced and some would say fragile. Now on top of the official data, there's the human side, layoff announcements. And we've seen continuing layoff announcements from big names like Salesforce, Nike, Starbucks, and more. And even the fast-growing tech firms like Scale AI have announced cuts this year. And planned layoffs nationwide are trending at the highest level since the pandemic. At the same time, the federal government itself is facing workforce reductions, with agencies like the U.S. Patent Office announcing cuts tied to the ongoing government shutdown. Now, all of this creates a climate of uncertainty heading into Q4. So what's the bigger economic backdrop? Growth is decelerating. Forecasts for Q4 GDP are in the 1% range, so that's well below the pace of the last few years. And economists expect the unemployment rate to continue to climb higher, towards 4.5%, maybe even 4.7% in 2026. And while inflation has cooled, wage stickiness could complicate the Federal Reserve's decisions around further interest rate cuts. Add in the government shutdown, which is delaying economic data releases, and we're in an environment where business leaders don't have as much visibility as they'd like. What does this all mean for HR leaders? I'll leave you with these 5 takeaways. First, flexibility is your friend. Instead of planning for aggressive headcount growth, build flexibility into your workforce strategies by using contingent workers, project assignments, external consultants, and cross-training key individuals so you can adjust quickly. Second, retention matters more than ever. If hiring pools shrink or growth slows even more, losing top performers will really sting. Doubling down on investments in development, career mobility, and recognition are important in 2026. Third, rethink skills before headcount. Ask yourself, do we need more people or do we need more of the right capabilities? Upskilling and redeployment may be smarter than external hires right now. Or tapping into the extensive gig economy might be the best short-term solution. Fourth, lean on your data and scenario planning. With official reports less reliable during the shutdown, look to internal workforce analytics like turnover trends, time to fill, employee sentiment to guide your HR decisions. And finally, remember the people side of all of this. Uncertainty in the economy breeds anxiety. Transparent, proactive communication about what you're seeing and how you're preparing can go a long way to stabilizing employee morale. So where does that all leave us as we look towards 2026? My best guess, we expect a continued graduating job market cooling. Job growth will likely slow down even more. Unemployment may drift upward to 4.7%, maybe even as high as 5%. and wage growth will moderate, but critical roles will still be competitive. Layoffs will continue in vulnerable sectors. We will hear more stories about AI eating away at entry-level roles, but opportunities are there, and they'll grow in areas tied to digital transformation, managing the change from AI, and reskilling to keep up with the rapidly advancing technologies. HR's role in 2026 may be about doing more with less and helping organizations navigate uncertainty with foresight, flexibility, and care for our people. That's it for today. Thanks so much for listening, and a big thank you to WorkHuman for supporting the Workplace Minute. If this episode made you think about how your organization is preparing to close out the year and get ready for 2026, please share it with a colleague. I'm Steve Boese, and this has been the Workplace Minute from H3 HR Advisors.